Story 1. Am I the a-hole for bringing up my brother's premature birth at Christmas dinner to get my parents to shut up? I am a nurse practitioner, and I am the primary care provider for a lot of the low-risk maternity cases at the practice where I work. I also work hand-in-hand with the doctors and midwives to create a healthy maternity, birth, and postpartum situation. My fiancée is completing her residency. We live together and have for a few years now. We aren't in any hurry to get married. We originally had plans to do so a couple of years ago, but then we got really busy for 2 years. It's driving my very religious parents crazy that their youngest son is living in sin. I don't really care. I'm an adult, and I do what I want. We're getting married in June. So we're visiting my parents for Christmas. The way it came together this year, everyone is at my parents' house. So that's my folks, my 3 siblings, myself and fiancé, and 7 grandchildren. So 17 people. At dinner, my mom starts going on about how she's so glad that we're finally getting married and she won't be embarrassed at church anymore. And my dad says how proud he is of his 3 older kids who are either waited to get married before moving in together or got married right away after moving in together. My fiancé was getting embarrassed and I was getting mad over this stupid argument we've had too many times. And a family dinner was the last straw. I asked them repeatedly to just accept that they cannot control how I live my life. I refuse to stay with them when I visit, even if I come alone. Hotels are just easier. So I started talking about a premature baby I had been reading about. It was almost 3 months premature and weighed about 1.6 pounds. It was super strong and healthy for being born so little, and the NICU had high hopes for the baby doing well. My mom and dad both got deer-in-the-headlights looks on their faces. Too bad. Should not have effed around with my fiancé's feelings. So I asked about my oldest brother. He was born almost 4 months premature. Is there a chance that we could check out the family album where we keep all the records of family births and stuff? I already know my brother was over 9 pounds and almost 23 inches long when he was born. My grandmother told me all about it the first time my parents tried to shame me. The subject gets changed very fast. After supper, my parents told me that I should not try to embarrass them with private things that are not my concern. I told them that if I heard anything about my living arrangement ever again for the rest of my life, I would make sure to keep bringing up the fact that my mom was in her 2nd trimester when they got married. My parents are mad at me for telling them how to behave in their own home, but my fiancé is happy that they seem to be off the subject for good. Am I the a-hole? Come on. I think you know the answer to that. You didn't post that question with any, real thought that you might be an a-hole. You know you're not. You're kind of an a-hole for asking it when you know you aren't the a-hole, but yeah, no, your parents are a-holes. For them to be so vocally judgmental about you, especially because, we're good Christians and you're living in sin and everything. He who is without sin may cast the first stone and all that kind of stuff. There's so much about just mind your own business. Just accept. Be accepting and loving. Don't constantly, these parents. I don't understand. They're getting embarrassed about this. Why? Just why, okay? I'm sorry, but it just... And especially knowing that, they were doing it before marriage, so, I guess we should bring that up constantly as an example. But no, you bring that up and they get real mad about it. So, you shouldn't be, bringing that stuff up against it. Then you don't either, Mom and Dad. You don't get to bring up that crap if they don't get to bring up your crap. Okay? But this is our house. F your house. Story 2. Ruin my wedding to propose? I'll ruin your proposal. I, 35 male, have a younger brother, Todd, 29 male, who had a complicated birth and had to stay a month in the ICU, and because of that my parents have always doted on him and almost denied him nothing, even if it was to the detriment of my sister Abby, 32 female, and I. My brother drinks in the attention and has on more than one occasion made himself the center of attention at either my sister's, or a cousin's special event. Because of this, Abby and I have a strange relationship with Todd and our parents. Unfortunately, Todd met and fell in love with Lucy, 24 female, who announced her own pregnancy at the baby shower my mom held for Abby. When I proposed to my wife, Michelle, 30 female, I just wanted to elope, but she really wanted her family to be there, so I invited my family out of obligation. When While out, my best man Jim, 35 male, noticed a receipt from a jewelry store slipped out of Todd's pocket. Jim confronted Todd about this, which led to an argument. Jim told me everything, and I told Todd that he was no longer going to be a groomsman because I knew he was going to propose at my wedding. Todd cried to our parents, and which led to a blowout. In my parents' eyes, since Todd never admitted that he was going to propose to Lucy at my wedding, I was unfairly judging him. I refused and brought up Todd's past behavior. My parents couldn't refute this and got Todd to agree to not try anything at my wedding. This wasn't enough to convince him to let him be a groomsman, but I warned him that if, as a guest, he'd try anything, I would make him regret it. Fast forward to the wedding, and surprise, surprise, Todd walked over to Lucy and proposed to her during Michelle's father-daughter dance, and did it in a way so that everyone would notice. Cue my revenge. Jim and I had hired a woman to pretend to be Todd's side piece who cornered Todd and Lucy and claimed that she was pregnant with his baby. Todd denied this, but when she called his phone, I gave her his number and messaged with Todd's phone to incriminate him. It didn't look good. Lucy threw the ring back at Todd and left in tears. When Todd saw the smile on my face, he knew that it was me, and I didn't respond to a single call or text from him or my parents until after the honeymoon. Lucy has thrown Todd's stuff out and has been denying access to their kid. Todd is furious and demanding that I clear his name. I sent him a text saying that I had no idea what he was talking about, as well as a screenshot of a bill for the wedding, and gave a vague message demanding reimbursement for half of the wedding costs. Michelle knew the whole time that I was what I was planning and gave me the green light after Todd ruined her moment with her dad, so I felt pretty good, but now even Abby thinks I went too far. I mean, Todd deserves something, for sure. This might be a little bit far when you are ruining his relationship and severing his connection to his own child with a lie just because he, yes, lied to you and did the thing. And I'm not saying that he should get away with what he did at all, but to make him pay for half of a wedding, which typically are not cheap affairs, that seems like a lot. Especially, I don't know. Like, I feel like you could have warned him beforehand, like, look, if you do propose during the wedding, I'm going to ruin you. Or something. I don't know. Maybe you did. I mean, I don't know how you get back at Todd or if you just cut things off with him or what. But I do feel like destroying his life to that extent might be a bit too far. Story 3. I exposed an affair because it was affecting my sleep. So, I'll start with understanding what I did wasn't exactly right, but I regret nothing. Too long didn't read, my upstairs neighbor is having an affair and it's disrupting my sleep, so I found the wife online and messaged her. Problem solved. My upstairs neighbor has been having an affair with a married man for about 4 months now. I wouldn't care, but because it's an affair, he comes over at odd hours of the night and they have intercourse very loudly. I can hear a lot, and it wakes me up slash prevents me from sleeping. How do I know it's an affair? He's never spent the night and his car has baby car seats in there. Some backstory. I've had issues with my upstairs neighbor prior to this. She would throw parties on Monday nights. She gets home at 2 a.m. from work, pacing her condo and having loud phone conversations. She's 40 years old, throwing parties with 20-year-olds and having affairs and living like a teenager. I tried to talk to her like a normal person about my concerns, but she doesn't care, and I've had to get the association involved to stop the parties. I hate her. So I decided to learn some more about this mystery man. I looked up the license plate, found an address, searched the address, and found a name. Took the name and did some social media stalking and found the man and his wife's profile. I made a throwaway account, messaged the wife about the affair. I haven't seen him for a few weeks and I'm sleeping really nicely. Edit. People asking, how did you find the address? Website called InfoTracer. Yeah, no, I see no problems with this at all. I'm not even gonna put right in quotes. I think what you did is fine. Totally right as far as I'm concerned. Your neighbor is being inconsiderate. This guy is being a cheater, so he doesn't deserve, no, if you're going to cheat, then I think people get to tell on you because you're doing a crappy thing. Ugh, gets me mad. So yeah, I'm sorry to this guy, but you got what you deserved. And for the upstairs neighbor, oh, so sorry, poor you. Maybe be a nicer person in the future. Story 4. I put a fake note on a Corvette's windshield because it was taking up 4 spots. So the title is fairly self-explanatory, but I'll elaborate. I was trying to find a parking spot at my university. The lot was notoriously crowded, but my campus didn't have a lot of options. While searching, I saw a Corvette taking up 4 prime spots near the front of the lot. After about 10 minutes of waiting/looking for a spot, one opened up towards the back of the lot. Furious at the nerve of the driver being so inconsiderate, I wrote a note saying, "Sorry I hit your car, you probably won't even notice the damage," and left it on their windshield. When I got out of class and was headed back to my car, I saw a very stereotypical college-age Corvette owner frantically searching their vehicle while yelling into their phone. I don't know who they were talking to, but I feel bad for them having to deal with this person. Man, this was a lot more tame than I was thinking by the title. I would have done so much worse. Like, I'm sorry, yeah, college parking lots are hellscapes. They're way too overcrowded. Colleges do not provide nearly enough parking, charge people up the wazoo for parking half the time. That's a whole nother issue. So for someone to be inconsiderate and park in a way to where they're taking up 4 spaces, the fact that you didn't get on top of their car and take a dump on the windshield and pour water into their gas tank or something speaks to your restraint. Like, don't do this, people. I don't care what kind of hurry you're in, how big your vehicle is. If it's a college parking lot or any parking lot that just gets really overcrowded, you take up your 1 space. If you take up any more, you will get what's coming to you eventually. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.